Welcome back to CFC Fan TV. Ben here, joined with Dom. And I know we've done quite a lot of Sarri out videos, so I thought we'd go from a perspective of someone who's actually Sarri in, as well as someone who's a little bit on the fence. So we're going to go right into it. So Sarri, personally today, I don't think he's done that much of a bad job statistically. Obviously, he had that miracle start at the beginning of the season where he went like 12 games unbeaten, took out a lot of points, and looking at statistics, obviously last season under Conte we finished with about 70 points. At the moment we've got only a few games to go and we're on 63 points. So in comparison to that, has it actually been as bad a season as people made out?
I think that actually there has been a lot of bad moments for Chelsea this season. Particularly the away form has been really shocking, particularly in 2019, and some really poor performances. Bournemouth, City were just dreadful days. And I think it's very easy to jump down the throat of the manager and just blame him for everyone, because everyone has to, everything has a blame. Every reaction has to have a blame. And I think that a lot of people have been very easy to jump down the throat on the manager. At times, in my opinion, it has been justified, though. The stubbornness and the lack of creativity in his want to change the starting lineup has really shown why Chelsea fans, justifiably at times, are frustrated with the manager. But then again, whilst the manager at times is responsible, the players really need to take on the responsibility of not performing, because there's only so much Maurizio Sarri can do, only so much in terms of what he can change up, and I think the players really need to take the step up. One positive is the game against Brighton. He actually, I don't want to say listened to the fans, but he gave over. He allowed something else to be trialled. It was only against Brighton. It worked. Is he the reason why Chelsea fans have been so upset this season? I don't know. I'm not Chelsea, Sarri in, I'm not Sarri out. I just support the Chelsea manager regardless of who they are.
And to be fair, that is a good way to go, obviously. That's how I do see things. I mean, regardless of what the problems are going on, you've still got to back your manager. You've got to make sure, that he has some support. Fair enough, if he does make mistakes, you can voice their opinions, but probably not as strongly as, screaming F Sarri ball every game, saying that we want Sarri out, and then going in as vicious as you are on social media about him.
Yeah, but I can understand that. I personally, when we were at Cardiff last week, I didn't sing the F Sarri ball, just out of respect, because I'll always support the club regardless of who's running it and how we're doing, and I think actually it's not doing any favours for the team for them to hear that. We managed to get the 2 goals, and at the end I didn't hear very many people sing fuck Sarri ball at the same time. To contradict that, I think actually Maurizio Sarri really needs to understand the frustrations of the supporters will come from a lack of change and a lack of want to change. But do you think that's representative of who he is as a manager? Because a lot of other managers would have given over a lot earlier than he appears to have done.
100%. So how I see it is, obviously Sarri is a stubborn person, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's very rare that you see someone who isn't a yes man. He'll just go to the board and go yes, yes, yes. He wants to change for the better. He wants to implement his style of play, and this is a point that I've been making just in discussions. I actually haven't said it on video yet, but personally, I know Sarri has been making mistakes. I'm only going to say he's making mistakes. I'm not going to say he's done a bad job. And I just feel that he's being used as a punching bag for bigger problems at the club. And I'm going to say this, it's probably the board. Now I'm not going to go in too much, because to be fair, if it wasn't for the board, we wouldn't be where we are today. Obviously, they have made us a huge club, the money that they have invested in. But to continue to be a big club, you've got to constantly invest. And obviously with Mourinho, obviously he won the league, didn't get the players he wanted, got sacked. Conte won the league after that very poor season, didn't get the players he wanted, got sacked. And then Sarri only really got one player he wanted, which was Jorginho. He wanted a lot more players and he actually couldn't get them. Do you think, if he had got the players he wanted, this would be a whole different story? We might be in a top 4 / title race? Or
I feel that there is an expectation from Chelsea supporters worldwide that they want results immediately, and I think, as much as I hate the team, Liverpool have been a really fantastic example of, to bring in a talented manager, give him the budget he needs, give him the backing he needs, and actually not just instantaneously bring results. form themselves into a side. As much as it pains me to say, they have been the best side this season on a regular basis. They're churning out performances, and you can't come on. They've lost one game all season. They're into the Champions League quarterfinals. They did and they're doing well on other domestic levels.
I partly agree, but personally, I think City have been the best club this season. I think they're the ones who are going to win the title. Okay. They're the ones who are going to win more. But I'm not going to disagree with the fact that Liverpool have been a bad side. I think Liverpool have been a great side this season.
Okay. But taking that into account, I think actually it shows what you can do if you actually give a bit of time and actually nurture a side into a team that's actually going to be challenging on a lot of different competition. And I think that's, I don't want to say the model that a lot of teams need to be focusing on, but that's actually what we really need to be seeing a lot more of, rather than just throwing money at the situation and fingers crossed it works, actually trying to nurture a side into a really good team.
And I do agree with that. The fact with the money, so the reason I've sort of addressed the money situation, because even though we have been spending money, we've been spending it wrong. You've got to look at some of the transfers we've been making. I know, we have that deadline day panic where we'll just sign a random right back from Italy. In the Drinkwater scenario, Morata as well. I mean, the amount of wasted money we've put into players.
Yes, but that's always the risk you run. Chelsea, there is no way Chelsea are going to spend considerable sums of money and not think the players are actually going to turn up. I think it's just, I don't want to say trial and error, because a lot of time and effort goes into scouting these players out and actually goes into looking into these players. I just don't think they've turned as good as we intended for them to do. Obviously, that's unfortunate. But then you get these players who come along and they are fantastic. I think Eden Hazard has been the real example of a player that I don't want to say was pretty unknown, but he wasn't known on the world stage when he joined us in 2012, I believe.
I mean, I'd say at the time he was a watched talent. He was like he was one of them world class talents, not obviously world class players, but everyone did want him. It's like it was like Neymar obviously at Santos. He was being watched a lot.
Yeah, but he wasn't expected to come straight into the Chelsea side and to really. Well, he was expected to make a difference, but he wasn't expected just to completely reinvigorate us after the Champions League win, which it was a side which was doing well because we won the Champions League, but we came sixth that season. I think that it's a real clear example of what you buy a player and to nurture him into a world-class starlet. The problem with Chelsea at the moment, we expect it instantaneously. The Higuain scenario. Morata did poorly at the beginning of the season. Higuain was expected to come in and get a considerable number of goals. It's not proved to be the point, and it's not proved to pay off like that. And I think actually as fans we need to be patient, because these things don't happen straight away. We saw with Manchester City, it didn't happen straight away, but it slowly turns into a machine, really.
And now, going on the basis that, say we do decide to sack Sarri, say, the club had enough, he didn't win any silverware, he hasn't got what he needed to do. How much trouble would that be, obviously, with the transfer embargo? The point I'm making is, if we do decide to sack Sarri, will anyone really want the job? Will it become a bit of a toxic role?
I think that the Chelsea management position really has the feel that it's becoming a poisoned chalice, that nobody creditable really will want to touch it with a barge pole, just because Chelsea going into a transfer ban potentially, and actually they're sacking managers after one season. It's not even a full season. He came in 3 weeks before the beginning of the beginning of the Premier League last season. He wasn't given very much time to work with the squad, and I'm sorry, what can you really expect? I can understand that supporters are really upset because we aren't doing as well as we really need to, but I think a bit of time, a bit of nurturing, and a bit of actual presence within Sarri, at the club, I think he can really take us on to the next stage.
I agree, and just as a last minute case study, I've been saying about it similar. Whenever someone says Sarri's done a bad job, I say he needs time. You can't get results right away. I know Chelsea have looked at that sort of impact. But if you look at Southgate for England, I say this quite a lot, and obviously you'll notice I'll use it as a reference quite a lot. But he come in, obviously things were a little bit dire, and everyone was like, "Oh, really? What's going on here?" But he just said, "Look, I'm not going to get results right away. I need time to put my style of play into, and I will make good football." And then, obviously, 2018 World Cup of the best World Cup we've had since 1996. 66, sorry. Everyone was just gobsmacked. Do you think, with Sarri, if he can get the players he wants, if he can actually bring his style of play, the Napoli Sarri, will we actually be seeing a Chelsea challenging for titles?
quite possibly. However, whilst Chelsea may progress, everybody else is also progressing. In the Premier League, as we've seen, Wolves are coming up, lots of these sides. It's not just contained within the top 4, top 5, top 6. Anybody can come to any club and do the business. So it really is just trying to progress and make it on a constant and continuous basis.
Obviously, that's been my point, that's been Dom's point. If you disagree with us, please let us know in the comments. Are you Sarri in, are you Sarri out? Again, I do read every comment, so I'll be looking forward to see what you have to say. In the meantime, guys, this is CFC Fan TV. Please do subscribe if you're new here, and have a great day.